Hello Internet, BardicMonk here, and today we're going to be taking a look at my Marvel Champions collection to show you exactly how I organize all these boxes. When I first started, I only had a single box, which was just the core box, and eventually I outgrew that, and I kept expanding into other boxes. For example, after getting out of the core box, I had this long box filled with cards, and that collection eventually grew into... Okay, here is my Heroes box, which is my collection of all the hero kits in here. And in this box I have everything organized from A to Z. For all these heroes I have them ordered so that there is a divider and then the cards in front of it. That's just the way that I've been doing it. And you'll see I just have a name put onto the divider and then the cards in front of that. So I'll have as far as I split the hero kits, I put the hero, their nemesis set, and then their player cards, their actual kit here. For any of the custom characters that I have in here, I also have this additional top right mark. I think it's a little hard to see, but pretty much there is a purple mark at the top right of this divider, and I've been doing it for every one of the custom characters, so that way at a glance I can see what's official and what's not. Just want to show you this. This is all just the hero cards again, and just the way that I've organized it is exactly how I said it there. So divider, hero pack, and then the hero pack is just the hero, any specific cards that aren't going to be shuffled in, obligation, nemesis set, and then the rest of their cards, the rest of their kit. And that's everything that you need to know for the hero kits box that I have here. When I got enough cards to get out of the single pack, I ended up getting into the quadruple set, and then eventually I grew out of this one. So I used to have a collection that was just all the heroes, all the aspect cards, and all the modular sets and villains all in one box, and then eventually the collection got a little out of hand. Okay, so I recently got I believe this is a quintuple, like a 5-row box, and this is for the heroes that I have. And this is a little bit more barren, but it's because I need more space for splitting up some materials. It all makes sense to me, so I hope this makes sense to somebody out there. I have all the aspect cards for the characters, all the aspect cards for what you would build your deck out of in this box. I'd have a lot more if I didn't have cards in the spare box, which is what this was. I have enough in this collection to I have everything that's released in these two boxes, right? But I split up all the stuff that were too many copies of something. I don't need 60 copies of energy in this collection, just eating up all the E space as well as all these sleeves. So what I ended up doing was I took any copy of a card and I would have enough to build 2 decks. So I have them all in alphabetical order, and then also within each pack, each set, I have them in alphabetical order as well. So all the A's start with across the Spider-Verse all the way to Io, and they're not split from aspect either. Just whatever the alphabetical thing is, you'll find it here. Just because I use Marvel CDB to to build any of these decks, and anything that is, we're going to say any custom cards or anything, that's not on that website, so I ended up putting them to the side over here. So all the stuff on this side is just custom content cards. For this, I went from A to Z, then I have the link cards all together. So if I wanted specialized training would be this pack of cards here. So it'd be specialized training and all the link cards, because when I first did this, I did split up specialized training from all the other types of cards here. So I'd have to like find specialized training in S, combat specialist in C, defense specialist in D, and so on and so forth. Um, when it comes to like show of empathy, I kept redemption together. So any link cards are going to be in this collection, and I put them as their own section. So this is just the link cards zone. And the last thing I wanted to show is that the team up cards all exist in their own space. So any of the team up cards are here. So if you needed anything that's a team up between two characters, they're just going to be here, all in alphabetical order from Beauty and the Thief all the way to Young Love. So I just kept them separated because it'd just be easier to find. Like, oh, I have both characters. I'm just going to look in here, the top, here, to find 2 copies of that card to put into the 2 decks. That's everything for the hero stuff, and now we're going to get a little bit more complicated with the villain box. There's a lot of space in here to expand on, and I don't think I'm going to need another one for another couple of years, maybe. We'll see that. But let's go into the villains box that I have. I should show, since I have this out, and this is probably going to be the last way I show this. My extras box is very specifically, extras, right? But this extras box contains extra copies of every card, but it also contains my collection of cards that have been cards that don't fit anywhere else. Like all the basic deck description cards are all in here, and I've also included in this collection the cards that have been eroded. So all the original copies of cards I kept in here. Reluctant Foe I might move back into. I think I'm going to do that. I have a custom version of Reluctant Foe in my Zemo deck, but anything that's been patched out I put into this collection. So it's not a lot of cards that I've fixed. A lot of the other ones are just like wording issues that just make sense to remember what it is. They're just like cleaning up wording and stuff like that, so I don't think it's that important. Also part of this extras collection are like extra copies of cards that I have, or things that just don't make sense to keep. Last but not least, alright, so next we have the villains box, which is just every scenario and modular set included in one pack. And this is where everything's like subdivided 5 times, so I thought it would be the best to save for last. And what I have is all the standard sets are front and center here, so if I need to pick any of the scenarios, I have the standard set right here, and it's just in the front, and they're just ordered in standard and then expert, standard 2, expert 2, standard 3, and then any of the other standards that I made. So like Rathman standards here, and I have a spot for Limelight, but I just reprinted the cards to make it look like the actual video them that I just put out for the Limelight standard. So I'm still in the middle of making that, but I have all the standards in the front, so I know where they are. They're not going to be hidden somewhere in here. All the scenarios that I have, like the Baron Zemo pack, everything is here. We're going to just stay with Baron Zemo. These cards don't have to be subdivided like the heroes. As long as you put the villain and their schemes in front, then I just start putting their cards right behind them. So his official pack would just be behind it right here. Alright, so now that we have the standard, we have the actual scenarios here. It goes all the way down to Zolo over here, as well as the Wrecking Crew, which, because they're not modular compliant, I've just made them their own sleeves, so I can't confuse where the characters go. So we get all the way to Zola. Then after Zola, we have all the modular sets here. And yeah, it goes from a mess of things all the way to Zax here. And there's some custom content things here, like I said before. Just mark them with the purple mark at the top right. I don't know if it's really hard to see there. I think you can see it there. So, yeah, just everything goes here. If there's any player cards, they got the player sleeves there, and anything that's like strange, I just put to here. That's fine. But I think that's everything as far as the actual villains are concerned. So standard, the scenario themselves, and then any of the modular sets that you might shuffle into there. Things to note: there are the PvP modular sets I've kept separated because I do treat this part of it as its own set of not modular sets, but because this is the PvP arena, essentially I've just put it so that everything from this card down is all the PvP stuff. So if I need PvP stuff, I've kept it all together. But these are all treated as modular sets as if they were in here. So if I wanted to have Moon Knight going crazy, doing stuff to like help the scenario or whatever, I still can pick him up from here and then put him into a villain deck. That should be fine. But I have everything for the PvP mode here, and all the campaigns released up to this point are here. And that's how I've separated everything. For the current and legacy environments and all that stuff, I am not going to subdivide anything. I'm just going to use Marvel CDB and then just sort through there to figure out what cards I can and can't use, because it doesn't make any sense to like front load, like to mess with my current setup, because everything is made for ease of access and like ease of finding anything. uh I guess finding any cards here is just like, oh, I want standard 3. Okay, I go here, I know where standard 3 is. I want to fight against the Sentinel, so I put Sentinel here. I can just look at S, I'll pick up Sentinel. And I want them to have the Hounds modular set and Ship Command for whatever reason. So I have all that put together just in alphabetical order. Also, sorry, I forgot to mention that we have the Civil War for the PvP. It starts with registration and then ends with resistance, and I have like bordered. Sorry, I've colored the borders of these cards specifically so I know what cards can mix with what leaders. All in all, this is exactly how I do all this stuff. If you are curious about anything, I guess, for how I organize the stuff, just let me know. Um, it seems pretty straightforward to me. Everything's just alphabetical order in its own sections. So it just, I don't know, it just completely makes sense to me. I can't imagine another spot for standard, just because you're always going to need a standard set. I always put it here. Um, and in my brain, I guess I have it backwards for Americans. I know I'm thinking right to left because of being in Japan for a while. But I I do have it so that everything's like, okay, I need this. Okay, now I need one of these. Now I need some of these, and now I'm done. And if I wanted to, I still haven't used any of these. I have not had time to use any of the official campaign content stuff. But I guess this just makes sense to me. Just alphabetize everything. Don't try to subdivide it by any like themes, because everything can be split in another way. This is this is my current setup right here. I really need to figure out something for another game, but again, that's neither here nor there. I hope this helps you. I really hope this helps you. I've just seen Web Warrior Fanatic show his collection, and it was insane to me that he runs it that way. But if it works for you, it works for you. Again, this is just my recommendation if you wanted to see how I organize my stuff. Everything's split up into 3 boxes, technically 4, but the 4th one is just extra stuff. So it's the villains, the hero cards, and then the hero kits. The hero cards to me were the aspect cards, sorry. So I do have those 3 major boxes that I'm digging through, and just because of the amount of content, I am being pushed to like lift what feels like 50 pounds of cardboard every time I lift that collection. So it's it's worked for me, and it might work for you. That was that. I just want to show you how I do it. So thank you all for watching. This is a fairly simple video. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. As far as like, I don't have a copy of myself here. I don't have any crazy borders or anything like that. That's not from laziness. It's more of, very specifically, I wanted to keep the focus on the organization. So that was it. So thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Have a great night. And as always, stay positive.